How about injuries at youngsters at this age on a sport? Is it relatively, I think probably some of the folks might be surprised. Very few injuries out there in wrestling. Serious injury?
No, there's not a heck of a lot of them, really. It's, you know, a lot of shoulder injuries, this type of thing. But you know, it's not like football, for example, or something like that. But you know, there's a lot of the shoulder is the biggest area. Most kids that wrestle, especially in the lighter weights, are real flexible, and they can bend and move, and their joints bend and move. And of course, the referees, that's their job, to make sure that that joint don't bend past its normal range of motion. And if that's illegal when they do that, and it's stopped in a hurry, we'll see some out here tonight. Maybe not. These kids are too good. They might not. You might not see any illegal holds.
All right, Dodonio picked up another point, and it's 8-3 now.
Going for a takedown again. He can't go with Holt on his feet.
Eric Colta of West High, Dale Donadio from Chugiak in the 105-pound Region 4 championship. Down to 20 seconds in the third period. Mears with a pin at 38 seconds left in the second, winning the 98-pound class again this year. Billy Mears of West, and now his teammate Eric Colta. And the match is over as another 2 points picked up by Holda just before the match is over. And the final score is 10-3. And the 105-pound champion, the runner-up last year, is Eric Colta from West High.
Now they will give the awards for the 98-pound top four places, Dick.
So we'll be getting some awards now before our next match takes place here at Service High School. We have the 112-pound division coming up with Mike Bunker of Service, Rodney Jackson of Chugiak, and there's Billy Mears receiving his first place trophy.
Relative newcomers here, Dick, these two young men.
Mike Bunker, 112-pound junior. Yeah, he is. He defeated Enger of West 14-3 in the semifinal match, and Rodney Jackson of Chugiak beat Worst of Bartlett 6-4. In their opening matches, Bunker decision Lansford of Diamond 15-9, and Jackson over Cunningham 24-7.
Jackson, I don't think he's had a takedown this whole tournament. He just don't wrestle well on his feet. Some kids do well on the mat, some don't.
Jackson was 7-3 in the region. He is a junior. Rodney Jackson of Chugiak and Mike Bunker.
Here he comes out for two-point reversal. He's really snaky on his hips. He's got them big, long legs, and he can wrap them around you, and he really does a fine job of it, that Jackson does. He's always got his legs on people. He rides people with them legs. Uses forced halves and this type of thing like he's trying to do. Oh, he just got too high and got reversed. 4-2.
What kind of a seeding situation? Is it based strictly on records?
Yeah, basically there's a criteria they go by, Dick. Comes Rodney out again with them big long legs and everything, and he's gonna, at any rate, yeah, they come to a seeding meeting. They go by overall record, Region 4 record, head-to-head competition, this type of thing. He's got a leg cradle on him right now. We're getting him in near fall criteria.
All right, now here's a good example of the two referees, one on either side, because the wrestlers are moving around even though they're on the floor.
Right. You got to watch for better coverage, and you're looking for an injury type thing or something that may be where the kid can breathe or whatever. In this situation, he's okay, but he's reefing on that leg pretty good. And, you know, he's getting him pretty close in the near fall criteria, so they're both there watching that. If one shoulder's down and the other's at a 45-degree angle, that's near fall.
Well, Jackson picked up a couple of more points, and now he leads 6-4 as we start the second period. And this looks like, out of our first three matches, this is the best we've had so far, because Beers and Holta obviously superior to their opponents, as expected, in the 98 to 105-pound weight division. We're at 112. Mike Bunker of service in the green, and Rodney Jackson from Chugiak in the white-blue for the Mustangs. Second period action, 6-4. Jackson leading Bunker. One of the young wrestlers out here at service.
Here comes that switch again. Coming out with that switch. Didn't get it. He hit it again. Well, he got one. He's going to get one out of it probably anyway. No, maybe not. Look at that. They just keep switching and re-switching each other. They're getting after one another, Dick. There's no doubt about that. Look at that.
I'm always amazed at the lower weight classes of the quickness that they apply. There's points for Jackson again.
2-point reversal.
8-4 now. Rodney
being persistent and staying with it is something you got to do, and you can't do one thing. You got to do a combination of things and put them in sequence, you know, and then you're going to come out. There ain't nobody can hold you if you can put 2-3 moves together.
He looks like he's going to grow quite a bit, Rodney Jackson.
Yeah, he may get.
He's long and lanky for that 112-pound division.
Right, he could, you know, he's 26, 32-pounder by the time he's done. What is Rodney? He's a junior, yeah. He'd probably be 119-pounder next year.
8-4, Rodney Jackson leading Mike Bunker of service in the second period.
Rodney Barnon on, yep, ready. There we go to half Nelson here probably now. Probably reef a half up over top. On the neck, there it comes, right over the top. Now he'll drive it, get out to 90 and drive it. That's what he'll do. Got the arm across, there it goes. He's got a big long lever there, Dick. He's not extremely strong, but there it is. It's really tight too. Oh, he rolled out of it. That's a roll through. He didn't hold him there. Oh, he gave him two. Okay. He could probably had two prior to it. And then Bunker got away.
So 2 points for Jackson and 1 for Bunker. It looked like maybe he got a little over anxious to get that pin and let him slip away.
Got a little high there, I think. There's a nice takedown by Bunker. Nice takedown. Nice takedown. He jumped, head shuck.
So the end of the second period, and it is 10-7. And this is a good match between Mike Bunker and Rodney Jackson. Bunker of service, Jackson of Chugiak. 112-pound Region 4 championship.
You want to be, at this point in the match, when it's 10-7 or so, you want to be down, and Bunker's in a good situation right now. Of course, if he gets out and gets two, that's 10-9, and then he's still going to have to let Jackson go to take him down to beat him, you know. A little strategy comes in here later on. If Bunker did get ahead by two, or get behind and get a 2-point, get 10-9, his coach would probably tell him to let him go and give him 1 point and then try to take him down, the match going to overtime. We'll see if that happens. I don't know if it will or not. There he's coming. There's two reversal. 10-9. Let's see what happens. Unless he can turn Jackson, or you know, Jackson get away. We got him a long time to go yet.
10-9 Jackson. Minute and 15 seconds to go. Third period. Bunker still trying to hang on to Jackson.
See who wants it bad right now. This is probably one of the most exerting sports there is. There's no question about that. All the hard work for 6 minutes that they go through, and all they wrestle is 6 minutes.
And this is the second time they've wrestled today.
He just let him go. He just let him go. Now he's going to try to take him down with 40 seconds to go on the clock.
Well, you called it 11-9. Bunker needs 2 to send it into overtime.
See what happens. Jackson's not good on his feet. Not real good on his feet at all.
11-9, 30 seconds to go.
There it is. He's going to take him down.
There it is.
He might go to his back. No, he didn't go to his back. There's 11-11. It's going to go in overtime unless Jackson get out of there in the next 20 seconds. All he needs is 1 to win it.
All tied up There's a couple of intense young men out there on the mat right now.
Here comes Jackson.
10 seconds.
Oh, he grabbed an ankle on him. That's going to overtime, Dick. That's a good opportunity for us to talk about what happens in the overtime.
And we do. We have our first overtime.
Very good match. Both of them wrestled extremely well. Now they get a 1 minute rest.
Now this is where the coaches can take over, right?
Right. Now they talk to them for 1 minute. Now when they come back, there'll be 3 1-minute rounds. The score goes to 0-0. There's 3 1-minute rounds. They start up on their feet in the first round, and then they flip the coin or flip the disc again. Choice is taken again. The only thing that carries over from the first match to the second match is stalling warning, which none of them been warned for stalling, but a stall warning in this.
There's Jim McGee talking to Mike Bunker, and you just saw Steve DeVelli talking to Rodney Jackson, probably giving him more encouragement than advice, I would say.
Yeah.
At this stage of the game.
This comes down to who's hungry right now and who's going to get after it. Rod, I'm sure they both will. Who's in better shape comes in. They got to go 9 minutes now, you know, and that's tough on a young man. In between rounds, if it comes down, what we got? Comes down to referee explaining to him.
So Rodney Jackson and Mike Bunker
shaking hands again. Yeah, what they? Oh.
Bunker from the service. Rodney Jackson
gets took down again. They're coming out. There you go. Might not. Yeah, there's 2 points. Okay. 2 points. Now he let him up, so he's going to wrestle him on his feet, Dick, because he knows he can take him down. Probably a pretty smart move on their part at service. Rod is good on the mat, but he's not real great on his feet. And if this kid is, he's going to lose another one. Unless he can get him on his back. There it goes. He got 2 and got him on his back. I'll be darned. He just about backfired.
3-2. Jackson leading.
Now you got near fall points coming, at least 3. You might even pin him. It's tight, Dick. That's a head and arm. You can see how that arm across that head. 3 near fall.
Well, that's the end of the first overtime period, but it is 6-2 in favor of Jackson. Jackson of Chugiak. Mike Bunker from service. Jackson is on top.
I think Rodney got a little lucky there, Dick. He put him there.
He had the early lead in the match.
Service did what they had to do to beat him, and it just about, if they'd have been 4-0 at this point in Service's favor, Jackson been in trouble.
Still 6-2. 30 seconds to go in the second 1-minute overtime period here at Service High School in the 112-pound championship.
Rodney going, boy, he's going for that pin, too. Look at him rolling. He got the half in. Look at that. Doing a good job. He's a fine young man. There it is. Boy, it's tight, too. That's a half Nelson inside crotch.
(6-2).
It's tight. It's close.
5 seconds.
Uh-oh.
Bunker's trying to hold on, and he does.
Crowd getting a little wild, Dick. It's getting heated up as the weights get heavier, they get more heated up too.
I was telling my wife, I said, hey, you don't realize how enthusiastic these wrestling fans get out here.
Yeah, right. They even run after referees a lot.
9-2. 9-2 in the final minute. So Bunker has his work cut out for him here if he wants to capture the 112-pound championship.
Yeah, you have to pin him to do it.
fact, things got so heated up here that our monitor went out.
He's got Jackson in a cradle right now, and it's going to a crusher cradle.
Bunker comes out fired up with 30 seconds to go.
Jackson's so limber. You can look how limber he is. I mean, he's like a pretzel.
9-2, Rodney Jackson leading Mike Bunker with 15 seconds to go.
And Jackson won it.
You can hear him counting down. And Rodney Jackson is the winner in overtime in a super match in the 112-pound division.
Rodney did a super job. It's a good end to his year. It was really great for him. It was a super job by Bunker. It was a good match. They kids got after one another.
There's the very enthusiastic winner.
A very enthusiastic coach. They hug them little guys. They don't hug them big guys. They don't pick them up anyway.
And our next match will be in the 119-pound division. And this ought to be a good one, too.
Yeah, the Berea and Nicolai. A good match.
Greg Bieria and Tom Nicolai.
It's always been a 1 or 2 point match all year long. Nicolai has lost to him twice, and it's been within 1 or 2 points each time.
Bieria, a sophomore, second in the region in 82 at 112 pounds. And he's another tall, lean, lanky wrestler. Tom Nicolai, 9-6 on the year, placed 4th last year in the region. Tom Nicolai from Chugiak.
Tommy, one thing about Tom, he's about a 3.9 student. And just an exceptional student. And he's got big plans for him, people do.
Bieria defeated Rich of Bartlett 8-4 in his semifinal match. Nicolai down Brown of Diamond 5-3. In the quarterfinals, Bieria pinned Becker of Chugiak 445. And Nicolai decisions Johnny from service 15-7.
Nicolai is coming, got to get 2. He just got it. Yep. Nope. Ooh. Didn't give it to him. I'm going, ooh. Sit over here and referee the match myself.
First period and no score. Bieria from service, Nicolai from Chugiak. 119-pound weight division. Boy, the Bieria's got long legs.
Long, lanky kid, you know, and he really uses them levers real well, too. Tommy was telling me before the match, he said if I can just go with him, get to him in the 3rd round and be right with him, ahead of him or so, he said he thinks I can hang on. But you can see how flexible he is, Bieria, in there, coming around in that crossface.
It's like an octopus when it gets on top of him there, while there's no place for him to go.
Right, Greg's that way. He's really long and lanky.
2-0.
He's a 112-pounder. He went up 1 weight class this year. Exceptional kid. I think he got him for a 2-point near fall there. He had criteria, I guess. Yeah. That really hurts now. That 4-0. That's tough for Tommy to come back from.
Bieria seated number 1. So far, Mears seated number 1. Holt is seated number 1. Warren Enger was seated number 1 in the 112-pound division. So that was an upset. And of course, here in 119. Bieria also seated number 1, leading 6-0 at the end of the first period.
Yeah, 1 and 2 there.
Waiting to start the second period. Nicolai on top.
Beria really looks good. He didn't look near this good last time these two wrestled, but we know he's a good one. He's dominating him at this point. When they get all fingers like that, they got to get all 4 fingers. They can't get 1 or 2 or it costs them a point where he got away there and escaped. Really
and Beria again. 9-0.
Well, I thought this match would be a lot closer than it was, but Greg looks extremely good tonight.
So Beria leading by a score of 9-0 over Tom Nikolai from Chugiak.
Got him in the cradle. Looks like more points may be coming.
We're getting down to 1 minute.
Whoop.
2 more points for Greg Beria. And 11-0.
These the last 2 times these guys wrestled was 4-1 and 4-2, Dick. Beria looked just ripping him. A lot of mental in this game, you know, a lot of mental anguish they go through these kids to get ready, and some get...
I would think for an underdog, you really got to get off to a good start and get a couple of points.
Yeah, really do. Tom is not a very strong wrestler. He's not a real physical. He uses his technique and his flexibility more than anything, and Beria's got a lot more strength than Tom does, even though he may not look like he does. Got a lot of power in those levers.
And that's the end of the second period, so a commanding lead for Greg Beria from service, 13-0 over Tom Nikolai of Chugiak, as we get ready to start the third period. And there's
service coaches.
The service coaching staff.
Frank Kamerick and Big Jonesy.
Squirman Herman and
Squirman Herman,
Squirman Herman and Jim McGee.
He told me you were going to say that about him, call him Squirman Herman on the tube. He told me that. He said, yeah, he'll call me Squirman Herman. I know he will.
Couple of ex-East hires over there. Well, it's good to see some of the former wrestlers, as well as we've had football coaches
you know,
who've come back into the program as coaches.
Since I came back to Chugiak, I got 2 on my staff at Chugiak that are coaching JVs for me, that played for me, and that's really nice to see. You know, I'm not that old, but, you know, it's kind of nice to see the young guys like Billy Watkins and coming back and doing that. And it's nice. They're all over like that. Todd Arndt, you know, you mentioned, and Jimmy McGee and Herman. Frank Kamerick, who wrestled at Service here, was a state champ here at 185 a few years ago. Had a great career at Western Montana College in football.
15-1 is our score with a minute to go. As Beria had an easy time of it so far against Tom Nikolai of Chugiak, been far superior and has held the advantage most of the match. And I imagine he is another one that's going to fill out considerably before his career is over. He's only a sophomore.
Yeah, his brother's a 132-pounder, so and of course one plays basketball here at Service, big, long, and tall young man. He's a senior. His brother's a senior at 32, and he's in the finals.
15-1 is our score, down to the final 30 seconds of the match. Number 1 seeded Greg Beria from Service.
A lot of brother combinations in wrestling. You know, we got 2 in the final, Sifkes and Bearias, just for Service. You know, we've got them at Chugiak. Broderick's one got upset, but Broderick brothers we thought would be in the finals. You know, one of them is, and one of them's not.
Nikolai has just had too much to handle with the long, lanky Greg Beria from Service, and the match is over.
Tom got beat. He got ripped. No doubt. Nothing to be ashamed of. That next week.
15-1. Final score. Greg Beria over Tom Nikolai of Chugiak. Beria the champion in the 119-pound division. And there's our winner.
'26.
Service with 307 points starting the championship round. Chugiak with 206. Diamond with 160. Bartlett 112 and a half.
Good job, Greg.
West High with 111 and a half. They've picked up some points down. They're now at 121 and a half. And East High with 86 and a half points. And there is
East High finally has somebody in the finals. It's been a long time since East High School has had a kid in the finals. Dick, that's what kind of job Jim Hollis has done, and they scored more points than East High scored in a long time in this tournament. They've really been down lately.
Rodney Jackson picking up his first place awards. And now we get ready to go in the 126-pound division. This is an all-service final. A couple of young wrestlers here. Mark Hurley, who's just a freshman.
Good one.
Against Barry Sefke, a senior, second in the region in 81 at 105 pounds.
Yeah, he really grown quite a bit. 26, not a real strong weight class in this region at all. A lot stronger outside the region.
Barry Sefke, he is the #1 seeded wrestler. Frank Torres of Diamond was ranked #2. So this is a plus for Service as he defeated Torres, did Hurley 7-6, Torres of Diamond. And Barry Sefke over Shively from Bartlett 5-1.
Mark wrestled real well. He wrestled for a young guy. You know, a young guy in this sport. One thing about this sport, a young guy can have real great success. Most of the young guys, your freshmen and sophomores, don't have such.
Yeah, Tom Morgan wanted to know who the coaches were rooting for. You got Wilson taking care of one and McGee taking care of the other.
Yeah, right. That's hard to tell. I think they just want to go out there and have Mark wrestle real well, and you know, there's probably no doubt of the outcome. Sefke will beat him, the experience. But a young guy in this sport can have success, especially at the lightweights. You know, in regards to Mears and Holton, these guys have been real in Donadio and Chugiak, and they, you know, even Hurley here at 26 is unusual for a young kid at 26 to do this well. But it's one of the sports, it ain't like football or basketball, you know.
Sefke and Hurley, both of Service High School in the 126 weight division. Well, one thing, they're familiar with each other's styles.
Yeah,
they wrestle every day in practice.
Wrestle off with each other, sure, for the suit. He had a brother, he's got a brother that was a state champion at Service at 155 pounds a couple years ago. So he's a lot of beat up by his big older brother probably, and that's why he's pretty tough when he's a young guy.
How much wrestling is there in the junior high program? So how much experience do they get now before they get to the school competition?
They got a regular regular junior high program which goes all the way to dual meets and into a championship, junior high championship, where a kid will probably wrestle I guess about through the tournament would be about 12 matches in a season. And there's a big junior high tournament in Fairbanks up at Tanana that three of these junior highs go to, which is probably the finest junior high tournament in the state. It's just an exceptional tournament. My boy wrestled in it both years, and it's just invaluable experience. Now the 5 matches you can get 16. I guess they had 16 teams up there this year in junior high invitational. Not representing schools, but representing wrestling clubs and this type of thing.
So it is 4-2 after one period here between the two Service wrestlers in 126 division. Barry Sefke and young Mark Hurley, a senior and a freshman from the Service Cougars. 312 points now for Service.
Oh boy, that's a lot. I think they just broke their record. I don't remember what the record was, but I think it was 308 or something like that.
And they had 12 wrestlers in the 13 categories. Of course,
13 going, 12 wrestlers going, or 12 going total, or 14 total?
Well, I think he said 12 total. There must be some class that they don't have somebody in.
Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, there are 91.
Yeah, there was. There was 105. They
91.
didn't have anybody, and 98.
91.
And 191.
And heavyweight,
the heavyweight
division.
Right, so 4 divisions, really.
Yeah, so they're really stacked in the middle, Dick. I mean, they're just really from 19 up, they're really stacked till up to about 77 with Purnell there. Indoors both.
4-3, make it now 6-3. With 1:10 to go. Barry Sefke and Mark Hurley, both from service.
They'll be extremely tough. They lose a lot of seniors, but they got some kids back, and, you know, they're always going to be tough, the kind of program they got. I know all the coaches are hoping to be glad when all them boys leave, but it's like us in football. We hope with Bartlett losing all them kids Bartlett lost this year, you know. But you know, Bartlett's always going to be there. They may not be what they were, and service is always going to be there too, you know.
What would the situation be in wrestling as far as the coaches recommending some of these youngsters to go on to college? Pretty much the same as the other sports, where you try to recommend
probably
a program where they can compete.
Right. You can assess their ability, and hopefully, you know, you don't try to overplace them in a program. Wrestling is so regionalized around the country, you know, like at the University of Washington, for example, had an extremely fine program. The only guy to ever beat Dan Gable come out of the University of Washington, extremely fine program, and they don't even have a program anymore, as big as that school is, because wrestling doesn't pay for itself you know. So as colleges are dropping programs. Oregon State got fine, where Brad's probably going to go in one of those, I understand, and you know, they got a fine program. And some of your Central Washington and Southern Oregon, some of your NAI schools, real fine schools, they just don't have the same opportunity you do in football, you know, or basketball, because of the number of people, or, you know, number of schools that play or have the sport.
6-4 is our score as we start the final period. Barry Sefke and Mark Hurley.
It's a pretty tight match. That Hurley goes right with Sefke.
Byron's got to be pleased on one hand and maybe a little perturbed at the senior on the other hand.
Yeah. He's going. Look at that.
Catch 22.
Tell you what, he better not play. If he's not going all out there, he better watch it, because that young kid is. You better believe that. He's got him in a grapevine right now and working his head over. He's going to try to turn him if he can and beat him, or tie him anyway, going overtime or whatever.
6-4, and Hurley trying to put the pressure on here in the third period. Sefke says, wait a minute. Freshman's not supposed to do this to a senior.
Especially my own teammate. There he goes. There he's coming out. There you go. He hit a Grammy roll and right into a half Nelson.
So 2 more points for Sefke, and it's 8-4.
And you get little back points too. There he's counting the back points, referee. Got 2 anyway. Uh-oh, Sefke gonna go. Oh, no.
Still 8-4.
10.
Now they put up the final 2. 10-4. 40 seconds to go.
A little quiet in here now, Dick. Nobody's cheering against each other. It's always that way when 2 teams from the same team wrestle. 2 kids from the same team wrestle each other. It happened once that way in the state tournament. In fact, it made national wrestling news.
Oh, is that right?
It's the only state that any 2 kids could possibly meet, just because of total numbers. It happened in 79 or 78, or well, it was Dave Thomas and Terry Simpson from Chugiak met in the Region 4 finals and in the state finals. And
20 seconds to go. 10-4.
it's the only state that could ever happen in, because you don't send JVs. You just send 1 kid per weight class, you know, with the numbers game up here.
Sefke finished second in the region last year in 105 pounds and trying to win here at 126.
Okay.
So the final score is 10-4, but it was close until that third period. And Sefke is the champion, defeating his young freshman teammate Mark Hurley.
We might mention, Dick, one thing at this time. We had an overtime. Whether we'll see it tonight or not, I don't know. But if there's a tie at the end of the overtime, they use what they call a criteria to break the tie. And it's a set of 10 different criterias that if it's a tie at the end of the overtime, then it goes to, you know, greater number of takedowns, greater number of near falls, and it's in order, and you take them in order, the overtime first and the regular match. And if that doesn't break it, but it does, I've never seen it fail since they've adjusted the overtime just about every year, the criteria, then the referee has to break it himself. I don't know if we'll see him use the criteria tonight or not.
Well, we go to the 132-pound division between Bobby Kern of Diamond and Dave Bieria from Service High School, 132.
Should be a pretty good one. Bieria is favored.
Kern is the top-seeded wrestler in this division.
Oh, Kern was, oh.
And Bieria was picked number 2.
Oh. Maybe he's not. I thought Bieria was number 1.
16-2 overall, 7-0 in the division, Bobby Kern. And Bieria was 10-1, 19-2 overall.
He must have lost to Kern then. The only match he lost was to Kern.
Kern on the year, 19-5-2, 9-1 in the region, and a career of 40 wins, 27 losses, 3 draws. The 83 Chugiak Takedown Tournament Most Outstanding Wrestler Award, 1981 Diamond Rookie of the Year, and 1980 Junior High City Champ. Defeated Bieria 2-1 in their only meeting this year.
Be a barn burner then. These guys will get after each other. Bieria is basically a leg rider. You'll see him. I don't know about Kern, I don't remember, but Bieria will stick those legs in there, and boy, he'll, just like his brother, he's kind of long and lanky too.
He was 4th in the region in 81 in the 98-pound division.
Ago. 2 years ago, huh? He was last, huh? I'll be darned. He ain't got 2 yet, doesn't he? Yeah, he did. Yeah,
just
I guess
picked up 2 points.
Yeah, okay. They have to, in order to get 2-point takedown, they have to be down on the mat, in control on the mat. Not on their feet. You have to be in control on the mat.
2-0 Bieria over the number 1 seeded Bobby Kern from Diamond. 132-pound division here at Service High School, Region 4 Wrestling Championships. And next week, the top 4 from the region will travel down to Sitka. They're going to have a whole plane load of wrestlers heading down to Southeastern.
Sure are. 3:45 a.m. in the morning, Thursday morning. I don't know what they're doing. I'm going too.
Is that the day they have to wrestle?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. 3:45 a.m. Yeah,
well, we could talk all day about that.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yeah, that's what Coach Novelli just gave me that note. Thursday, 3:45 a.m. Well, I guess they're chartering aircraft, and I'm sure it has to do with charter bucks, you know.
So after 1 period, it is 2-0. And David Bieria leading Bobby Kern from Diamond. There's a shot of David Bieria. Big chance for some of these youngsters. Hopefully a lot of them will go on, but you never know. A lot of strange things happen after you get out of school.
Oh, yeah, right. That's for sure. Yeah.
Bieria is a senior.
Kern.
Bobby Kern is a junior.
He's a junior. Kern's going to be a good-looking young man, that Kern. Well put together. He doesn't look like he's 132 pounds, does he? He looks like he could be a fullback.
Yeah, he does. He looks much bigger than 132.
Yeah. It's really amazing. You can just look at him, and I'm not a very good judge of weight myself, Dick.
So Kern will be on top of Bieria as we start the second period, 2-0. The Service wrestler leading the Diamond wrestler.
We got one. One escape. Lost control. Kern lost control of him.
It just seems at this age level, possibly development in their career, that the taller, lanky wrestlers have the advantage. We've seen that tonight.
Yeah, in a lot of cases.
With that leverage. And
right.
3-0 is our score.
Whoa, boy, he just about put himself right on his back. I don't know what he was trying to do there, but he just give him 2. Basically, fell on his hip.
3-2 now. Bieria leading Kern. Just over a minute to go. second period. Service amassing 316 points.
Chugiak, 206, Chugiak.
And Chugiak with 206 in second place. Diamond in third. West in fourth. Bartlett fifth and East sixth.
I thought Diamond would be a little closer to Chugiak. I thought Chugiak might get him, but because they were a little overall strength-wise, probably a little bit better, but I thought it'd be a little closer than that.
You know, one thing I noticed, I was kidding Bill Sherwana from the Times about this a little earlier, and it's a pretty good idea. I don't know if you could do it with some of the other sports. Have the coaches select the state poll rather than sports writers and sportscasters.
Well, they do, yeah, in wrestling, of course.
They do it in wrestling, of course, which is an excellent idea.
Yeah, Darrell White put that together, Dick, last year when he was out of Chugiak, and he just continued with it down at Homer when he was assistant principal at Homer, and with the same 5 coaches. Mike Turner from Sitka, and John Tobin from North Pole, and Wasilla, the Wasilla coach.
4-2 for Bearea here as we get down to the closing seconds of the period.
Coaches have a better idea about what's
better
going on, you know, than the sports writers, because this state is so big, you know, and I mean, they know what's going on down in Southeast. Mike Turner does in wrestling, for example. The basketball coach would. He'd be much better off. Fairbanks too. How many times do the sports writers from Anchorage see the Fairbanks people?
However, I think it's a little easier on an individual basis for the coaches to do that than it is on a team basis.
Yeah.
To evaluate wrestler for wrestler,
sure.
where it
I
is
agree.
Football team against basketball team and hockey team and whatnot.
Right.
4-2 is our score. Third period. Low scoring match. 4-2 with David Bearea from service, Bobby Kern from diamond.
There's Bearea, got him in a half Nelson across the back and forced half with the legs in. Got a boy, and it's there too.
They both had easy victories in the semifinals. Kern beating Newell 11-2. Newell to service, and Bearea defeating Stuman of East 13-2. And we're down to 1:10 to go. 4-2 is our score, and Bearea trying to hang on here.
Well, he's got that forced half in there. Look at that. He got that grapevine in them legs. Boy, that hurts right there, Dick. Look at the grimace on his face in the camera. Oh, man. That's some pressure in that shoulder, you can see.
There's a good shot excellent shot of Bobby Kern.
Extreme pressure. That's where he don't want to be.
He's not thinking about winning or escaping right now.
Just getting out of that. All he wants to do. That hurts. There he's coming out of it now. The way it looks. Ooh, I don't know. Yeah, he's coming out of it. Now, let's see. That takes a lot out of you. What's third period? 30 seconds to go. It's 7-2. No way. 3 near fall. Green.
3 more for David Bearea.
Bearea took care of him. Upset the #1 seed. Good job.
And we're down to 15 seconds. And it looks like the Bearea brothers are going to have their championships here in 1983. 7-2, David leading Kern. Really never let Kern get off, and the match is over.
Well, Bearea puts up #1, which he is. Did a good job. He really wrestled him well. Fine job. One thing, Dick, about the end of match procedure, the kid has got to go back to those colors on the mat, red and green, and he has to stand there and he has to come down and shake each other's hands. Otherwise, it's going to cost you a team point. First of all, it'll cost you a match point, and if he does anything after that, if a kid loses or whatever, throws a headgear after the end of the match procedure, it costs you a team point. So referees make them stand right there and shake hands, whether they like it or not.
Well, there's our standings now. Service, 316 points. Chugiak, 206. West in third, 121.5. Bartlett fourth, 112.5. And East in sixth place. What did I do? Did I miss one? So we had Service, Chugiak, Diamond. I think I missed Diamond. West, Bartlett, and East. And here we go. 138 division. Larry Sefke from Service High School. And Corey Broussard from East High.
Corey's wrestled real well in this tournament. Real well.
Sefke region champ in 81 at 112. Second in the region at 126 last year. And third for the state. And Corey Broussard of East High, a senior's overall record is 40, 15, and 3.
He just threw him. Upper body throw and threw him right to his back. Boy, that hurts. You don't dig a 5-point hole and then try to come back. Holy mackerel. Now that hurts. That's 4. Maybe he didn't get 5. Might have got 2-point near fall instead of 3.
5 to nothing. Sefke's ranked number 1 in the division. And Broussard ranked over Broderick of Chugiak.
You do not give him a kid like that a 5-point lead and try to make it back. Too good.
Sefke defeated Allward of West 14-4, and Broussard defeated Backus of Service 3-0 in the semifinal round. In the quarterfinals, Sefke decision Flogger of East, and Broussard pinned Kleppinger of Bartlett in 3:02. 5-0. 30 seconds to go in the first period.
They might be thinking about dinging one of the Warren for. So wait a minute, it's still warning yet, have we?
No.
These kids have been really getting after it.
Larry Sefke, service, and Corey Broussard of East High.
Sefke uses his legs real well, and you know, you get a lead, you know, you're going to hang on. There it comes. Oh, stalemate. All right, the next time that he puts that leg in and does not use it, Dick, they'll warn him for stalling.
When do you take away points now?
From the team points?
No, do you ever take away points from a wrestler?
No,
you never take away points.
We just give another point to the other wrestler for a violation or whatever. If he sticks that leg in again and doesn't use it, they'll get him.
And the period is over. It was a quick start for Larry Sefke of Service over Corey Broussard, and a 5-0 lead.
Yeah, you don't dig a hole and try to come back from that. That's tough. It's against a good kid.
Broussard appears maybe injured his leg a little bit, maybe twisted a muscle.
He had a cramp in it. I was refereeing, not refereeing. There's an excellent Grammy roll. He's really cool. Sefke, he's tough.
7-0 now. 2 more for Sefke.
That hammerlock going across the back. Picture on the monitor is real good. You got to keep that at 90 degrees. It gets above 90 degrees, and it is 1-point illegal hold. Of course, in the hammerlock, you know, it kind of.
And the referees are reminding him all the time.
Oh yeah. Keep it at 90, right? And they got one looking at it one way, and you know, one looking the other way. They're pretty good about the kids are usually. You know, of course, if a kid puts it up there intentionally himself, then there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you don't. Sometimes that's hard to determine, though.
7-0.
Got them legs in again. I don't know. They might get him now. Well, maybe not. He took it out, see. He uses it when he needs to, and then he goes away from it.
Down to a minute to go here in period number 2. And Larry Sefke still maintaining control, been pitching a shutout.
There are some excellent wrestlers around the state from this weight class. Yeah, at 32 even, there's some, but 38, 45, 55, 67, 77. We'll win our share, I'm sure, but there's a lot of good kids in them weight classes around the state.
32 seconds to go in the second period. 7-0. Sefke over Broussard. Sefke from the service. Corey Broussard in the white with the red and the blue East High colors. How many times during the year would they wrestle twice in a day?
Just during, well, tri-meets.
Tri-meets?
A lot of tri-meets we
so
have
they have
up here.
done it
oh, sure.
numerous times during the year. It's nothing unusual.
The guys came back through the consolations now. For example, my boy, he wrestled 3 times today. He had to wrestle in the championship semifinals against Stewart, and then he had to come back and wrestle one more time, and then he had to come back tonight and wrestle again for the champion, in the consolation finals for 3rd and 4th.
Second period over, and the score still 7-0. Larry Shefke of service, leading Corey Broussard from East High. All right, in training, what do they do do they do a lot of running, a little bit of running?
A lot of, especially late in the season. I know Daryl and, and of course Steve, and I know they do here at service. They do a lot of road work. They'll run 8-10 miles and so, or up the valley like in Eagle River where they do out there where our kids go, and just a lot of running. I don't know how much is done. Palmer, I know over at Bartlett they do a lot of road work, especially late in the year.
Broussard picked up a point, so it is 7-1.
It's the hardest thing a kid, it's just the hardest thing, it's just the hardest workout you're ever going to have in a practice. There's no question about it. I don't care how hard we run them in football. They don't work as hard as a hockey player or anybody. Nobody works hard as a wrestler does in practice. And it's boring, to them. They always say that to them, and which it is. But in order to be perfection, in football we can do a lot of fun things. Well, in wrestling, sometimes there's not a lot of fun things, There's only one way to do a move, and that's the right way. And in football, there's 3 or 4 different ways to teach somebody to do something, You can teach 3 or 4 different ways.
Well, Broussard picked up 2, and then Shefke turned it right around and picked up 2. So it is 9-3. So in practice, they're doing a lot more work than actually wrestling other wrestlers from their school in their weight division.
A lot of drill work. They do a lot of drilling, of course, and a lot of weight work. They lift weights, and then of course a lot of wrestling matches too. They'll wrestle 6-8 matches a day, full-length matches, 6 full minutes, and they'll just keep going. And in the back of these mats, there's 9 circles, 9, 12, 10-foot circles, and you can put sets of kids in all those circles, so you can have a lot of kids going at each other.
2 more points for Corey Broussard, 9-5.
Hey, he's coming back.
Time is running out.
3rd period, he's coming back, isn't he? He dug himself a hole, Dick, and couldn't come back from it against a good kid.
And Broussard turned around to look at the clock, and just as he did, time ran out. And there's a couple of tired wrestlers.
Look at them laying on each other, yeah.
Larry Shefke and Corey Broussard. And Shefke is the winner by a score of 9-5 with some very early points. So that very first move by Shefke turned out to be the winner.
Yeah, he did. Real early, and old Corey, he come back real strong and tried like heck. He beat him except for the first minute of the match. Beat him 6-4 or 5-4, I guess, other than the first period, other than the first minute.
A 138-pound winner. There he is, Larry Shefke. So we move along to 145 pounds, and there are the 2 wrestlers.
Let's begin.
From Diamond High School, Todd Harris, and from Service High School, Chris Kurgis. Kurgis defeated Nance of West 9-2, and Harris pinned Akins of Service in 33 seconds in the semifinal match. Kurgis was the region champ in 81 at 126, and the region champ in 138 last year, and finished 2nd in the state. So he is a very experienced wrestler. He can be the first 3-time region champ in Service history. Now that's amazing with all the good wrestlers they've had.
Oh, I'll be darned. Well, he was 2nd in the state, right? He got beat in the state final last year. I couldn't remember if he was 2nd or 3rd.
Todd Harris is a senior, 20-3 on the year, 9-1 in the region, and a career record of 46, 26-1. And he was 3rd in the region last year.
Todd, exceptional season. Is he a senior? Yeah, he is.
So this should be a good one.
Should be a good one. Kurgis is a good boy.
Kyrgios and Harris. Kyrgios from service high in the green and the diamond maroon.
I can't remember who beat him last year at 38. Who was that?
Kyrgios number 1, Harris number 2. So they are right where they were predicted to be here in the 145-pound class. Dick Lobdell and Tom Huffer. The same Tom Huffer that coaches the football team for the Chugiak Mustangs, involved with the officials in wrestling. No score, and we're down to almost 30 seconds to go in the first period between Todd Harris of Diamond and Chris Kyrgios from service.
Oh, something. When the time talk, what's he got? Oh, contact. Contact came out. When he looked up the referee and said something, I don't know what he was saying. Contact.
Well, now, why would a wrestler wear contacts in a sport where you have that close contact?
A lot of them do. I don't know. You know, they get them soft ones in and they forget they're there, I guess. You know, it's not like the old days when all we had were the hard ones when I was playing football, you know. Had to put them hard ones in. I hated them.
Still no score. We're down to 10 seconds here, so
they got a warning. They got a green. They got a stall warning right now on Kyrgios. A stall warning on Kyrgios for not wrestling aggressively. Harris is getting after him. Kyrgios will go to work now, though. You watch.
First period, and this is the first time tonight that we have had no score at the end of one period.
Kyrgios number 1 seed, Harris number 2, is that right?
Right.
He must have beat Harris during the season, and I assume, but I don't know by how much.
We ask all of the coaches to supply us information cards of each of the wrestlers in the championship round.
They have done so.
And they have done so. Yes, we appreciate that.
Yeah, that's little tidbits that even I wouldn't even know.
So, no score in the second period. Chris Kyrgios of service.
1-0.
And now a point put up on the board.
Kyrgios got an escape. This will be a tight match probably. It won't go. It could go 1-0 all the way, or 2-1, or 2.
Well, I'm sure that they have wrestled each other a couple of times this year, and obviously are both excellent defensive wrestlers and have pretty well figured out the other style. Now they're trying to figure out how to put some points up there on the board.
When you get 2 good kids, you just gotta force them into a mistake. You know, it's like 2 good football teams. You got to force each other into a mistake. And that's the same thing with 2 kids out there that are extremely good kids, and both him and Harris and him they're really good kids, him and Kyrgios. Good kids. They could be. They've got a stalemate going now. That's to get them to keep wrestling started. They probably should have called a little bit earlier. Nothing's happening. Stand them both back up and get them wrestling again. Maybe the same thing will happen, or maybe they'll ding one for stalling.
They're taking a look at Harris. Seems to be holding his eyes.
Nose or something, eye, or poked in the eye, looked like.
Yeah, looks
got
like
injury time. Each kid has got, Dick, 2 minutes of injury time.
Maybe got a fingernail around the eye.
During the match, you know. And
you already took care of yourself. Put one on, yeah.
So with 41 seconds to go, 1-0 is our score.
Thanks, Jesse.
And an injury timeout as they take a look at Todd Harris from Diamond.
Looks like he got hammered in the eye, huh?
Now that gives Jim McGee, the assistant coach for the Cougars, a chance to go over and talk to Kyrgios. So it really helps out both wrestlers.
Yeah, it really does. They talk to him. Something they might see, you know, hey, he's not moving his feet. You might get a heel pick on him or whatever. He's coming in, you know, a lot of different things. Just a little tidbit might be enough to get him a couple of points. Byron, he kind of lays back. Old Byron's sitting over here by us, Dick. He just kind of lays back and lets his assistants do it.
Art Harris is all right after a break, trailing 1-0.
He's yelling at Kurgis now. Oh, Byron is, and Kurgis hurt him too. Uh-oh, they're going to get him. That's it. That's it. They got him for stalling. He did. You see Harris come across. They got to come across at each other, and Kurgis didn't. There he goes. There's a takedown. He's got a good fireman's on him.
1-1.
Converting it to a single leg right now. He ain't going to get it, though. 1-1. Be ashamed if either one of them lost on the stalling point.
It appears in this match that both waiting for the other to make a mistake, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
they don't seem to be as aggressive as some of the other wrestlers.
Sometimes it gets you get a little defensive. You don't want to make a mistake. It's going to cost you because, 2 points could be a 2-1 match or a 3-1 match or whatever. And it's, they get too cautious. But there's Will. There's Byron. He just sitting there at you. You can make a few comments about Byron, Dick. He kind of just, he lets his coaches sit on the sidelines basically, and he's got a staff over there, 3 of them, and he'll yell at him when he needs to.
We talked to him out here at the tip-off basketball tournament when we were out here in December, and he wanted to know if we were going to do any wrestling. And of course, the match that everybody was interested in was Kenai at Service, and they had 2 doozies this year, one here and one down in Kenai.
Right.
Kenai won here, and
Tri-meet here with Chugiak, yeah.
And they won down in Kenai.
Right.
Still a 1-1 score. Down to 1:35 to go.
They'll have a doozy at the state, too. There's no question about that. They'll have a doozy go at each other. I think Service may be a little bit stronger in there, a little more depth, and that Kenai is.
Well, you would think that some of the other regions, if one team is extremely strong like Kenai in their Region 3, they would place a lot more wrestlers in the meet than somebody like Service, where you get a better balance here. So on teams or individual sports, the competition that you get in Region 4 actually hurts them in the team event.
It has in a number of years also, because there was a number of years there where West Valley won back-to-back state titles, where Kenai won back-to-back state titles. Seemed to me there was somebody else
West
that won
High.
it 2 years, and they ran it 1 year. West ran it 2 years ago in Kodiak. Service last year. Kenai really folded in the semifinals last year. They may not do it this year. It'll be a good Donnybrook for him down there. Gee, it's still 1-1, Dick. It's 2-1. 2-1. Harris now. Both of them up. Kurgis got to have a takedown in order to become a 3-time region champ.
Yeah, another break as they're going to take a look at that eye again, it looks like, for Todd Harris.
No, he's bleeding in the mouth. No, any blood anywhere, any cuts, is injury time. And I saw Joel say, hey, you got this much time. And he's showing them the clock right now and showing them how much injury time they got left. And except for a bloody nose. That's no injury time. It's just, it happens quite a bit.
There's a good shot. Cuts. We could see Harris. He did. He got cut on the lip.
Cut in the mouth. And you got 2 minutes injury time. He was laying down here before, so they don't get any more either.
Now, I noticed some of the boys are wearing the knee pads, and yet Harris is not. What are they allowed to wear? Knee pads, elbow pads?
Yeah, they can wear knee pads. A lot of kids wear them, especially in those singlets, where most schools gone to, other than Chugiak. I think Chugiak might be the only one that still wears the tights,
And West, I think.
West, no, they wear a singlet, too. And Diamond Service. Hey, Chugiak's the only one that wears the tights. Darrell never liked him, and Novelli doesn't either. Doesn't like the singlet look, the freestyle look. He likes the black, the tights better. But, they wear them for Matt Burns on the knees.
2-1. Harris leading, number 1 seeded Chris Kurgis.
There's Kurgis getting after it. He just got 2 also. Yeah, there he did. Oh, no, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did now. He got 2.
20 seconds to go.
Boy, that's up.
3-2.
That's what it
So Harris needs an escape to tie it up and send it into overtime. Good position. Kurgis not going to let him out. 5 seconds.
He's been warned for stalling, remember, and dinged for stalling. And if he just hangs on, he could tie it up. He didn't do it, though.
So a late rally by Chris Kurgas, and there was that one little break that turned the match around.
Byron, look at Byron over here.
And he wins 3-2. So Kurgas, the favorite, and he wins it in a very low-scoring match. And that'll bring us around to the 155-pound class, and we get into another one of the, I guess you would call, super wrestlers in region number 4.
He might be the finest wrestler in the state right here. You know, there's a couple kids that can. Norm Asneri is just fine wrestler. I could never understand why he never played football, Dick. Man, any football coach would love to have a kid like that on that. A tough kid like that. He's a good one. 138-pound winners over there.
Well, there he is, Norm Asneri from Service. 4th in the region in 1980. He was the region champ at 155 last year. He was also the state champ.
Right, won in overtime by 1 point against Malden from Homer. Boy, it was a great match.
And his opponent is Brian Broderick, a senior from Jugiak, 12-1 in Region 4.
He didn't wrestle Masneri in Region 4 either. He hadn't wrestled Masneri all year, but Masneri, you know, can't go upper body with Masneri. Ooh, he got out of the way with it. Wizard. Masneri, they haven't wrestled all year, and I don't know what'll happen here.
Masneri
should be favored, of
defeated Howard of Bartlett 19-2, and Broderick pinned Green of Diamond in 5:15 in their semifinal meet.
Norm's so slick. Look at him. Just slick. Single leg. Nice single leg.
Two for Masneri.
Uses his legs real well. He is a complete wrestler. He just doesn't do some things. He can do it all.
In the quarterfinal round, Masneri pinned Vanderwood in 3:17. Two 2-0 our score. Norm Masneri leading Brian Broderick from Chugiak.
Oh, nice reversal. Not yet. Coming out. Yeah, got two now. Norm. Oh, nice. Coming back again.
So Norm Masneri picks up a couple of more points. With 45 seconds to go in the first period. Oh, I guess not.
What'd they give him? Should be 4-2, isn't it? What's the score? Oh. 2-0 on the board.
They did not give any points.
They didn't give Broderick any either, did they? I didn't see. I was looking at something else. I didn't see if maybe Joe took that away from him or not. It was questionable whether Broderick had the first two, you know, when he reversed him there. When I yelled, he got two. There's the forced half. You talk about hurt. Oh, my, oh, my. Put him on his back with it. He does that extremely well. And he's so powerful.
We have had just one pin tonight.
We don't get too many of them pins.
And Broderick stays alive as he turns himself over.
Brian, pretty strong kid. I don't know if Norman can pin him or not.
And there's the end of the first period. 4-0. Norm Masneri.
Definite prospect. He's a real good prospect in wrestling, no question about it. He'd be a good 48-pounder in high school and college. He'd have to pull some weight off. It's a hard thing to say, and they pull them kids down from, oh, God.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question now, and you can answer this because you're a father and you have to pay the food bill. What, do they eat special things, or are they pretty much on their own?
No, only if they're pulling weight, Dick. If they're pulling, depending, you know, they eat a high-protein diet of some kind and not too much liquid. And depends how much weight they're pulling. You know, in my boy's case, I could have dropped him to 77, and he'd probably been in the finals tonight. But you know, but I figured that's 10 more pounds he'd have to pull off, and he didn't have to pull hard at all. And maybe next year he'll have to pull hard to get to 91. But depends how much weight they're pulling. They don't eat very much during the week if they got to pull a lot of weight. And some of these kids pull a lot of weight, and maybe a lot of controversy around weight pull, how much weight the kid should lose, and this type of thing. But it's something that's been around wrestling forever. It's controversy as far as that, the weight loss is concerned and weight control. But it's old Keith Johnson used to say, I think I'm not sure you know Keith. Keith thought you got to have the toughest kid in the lowest weight class. He always used to tell me that when I was coaching wrestling with him. And he's absolutely right. The toughest kid in the lowest weight class, and if you can get him down there, then that's where they should be.
Yeah. 4-0. Mazzaneri leading Brian Broderick from Chugiak. Mazzaneri from service. 5-0 now.
It's a very emotional.
We're in the second period, and again, Mazzaneri, 2 more points, 7-0. He has been dominant here, as he has not allowed Broderick to do anything offensively. .30 seconds to go in the second period. Norm Mazzaneri on top from service, leading 7-0 over Brian Broderick of Chugiak. 155-pounders. Now this is where it gets in this weight division where you're right, it's really deceiving what they weigh. They look a lot bigger than 155 pounds. But you said probably they're closer to what, maybe 160 now when they're wrestling today?
Yeah, today their normal weight class right now, they weighed in today at 160 pounds. Well, 150, at 155 at 4 pounds, 159. Today they get an extra pound per day during the tournament or successive dual meets. So they weighed in today at 160. These guys probably weigh 165 pounds right now.
Mazzaneri adjusting his headgear.
They get on the scale and that whole thing just bobs up and down, and barely breaks daylight. Some of them kids.
7-0 as we start the third and final period. Mazzaneri up.
He's a good-looking young man, isn't he?
He has been in complete control here in this match.
See if old Brian can come back and do something a little bit here in the third round. Nothing to lose.
Keep in mind, they may have another crack at each other in the state next week, and maybe they picked up something. Maybe Brian picks up something that Norm is doing that they can take advantage of next week.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, saying, holy mackerel, what did I run into? Norm got a lot of experience. And Brian do all right. At 55, they got a kid up at North Pole who's just a stallion kid. Their name is Derek Chambers, who is only a junior, and they very definitely, him and Mazzaneri, could meet in the finals. There's some good 55-pounders. They got a kid from Kodiak, Ferris from Kodiak, who's a fine 55-pounder. And they got a kid at Kenai that's good. That's really a tough weight class. Really tough.
Another point for Norm Mazzaneri, 8-0.
You got a stalling point? I didn't even see. Yeah, Brian's not doing much. He just kind of been sitting down there, and just not wrestling real much. And Mazzaneri's putting pressure on him.
You can see the look on Steve Novelli's face.
See, you got another one there. And I'll tell you what, Brian, you better start wrestling. They're going to throw you off the mat for stalling.
9-0, Mazzaneri.
I saw that happen in Joel Silverthorne throw 2 wrestlers off the mat in the state finals. Jed Henning and big old Neville from Eielson. He threw Henning off the mat, and Neville was 1 point away from being thrown off the mat, and both of them are playing college. Fact is, him and Jed went head-to-head, and Fresno State played Cal State Fullerton. They were opposite each other playing ball and going head-to-head. Jed said they had a heck of a time talking to each other. Kids got to wrestle, you can't go out there and lay there. It's not like freestyle.
And it's a shutout for Norm Mazzaneri. 9-0.
Outstanding kid.
So all of the big favorites have come through in super fashion. Billy Mears, a pin. Second round, 38 seconds left. Mazzaneri winning here. Both the Biera, Shefke. Eric Holta, big winner.
This could be an interesting match here. I don't know if young Steed can go with Chesler. This Kenny's...
Ken Chesler and Jeff Steed.
Jeff, Robert Williams, good brother. Whatever.
Ken Chesler, fourth in the region in 82 at 185 pounds. And Robert Steed, a sophomore, 11-1.
Real fine year for a sophomore. Kenny wrestled last year at 85 because he couldn't beat the 6-7 pounders, so he wrestled up and went to state.
Chesler seated number 1, and Robert Steed number 2.
Not a real strong weight class in this region, but powerful outside this region. There are some class kids outside this region. I mean class kids. These are 2 fine, good kids, but they're not the class of the rest of the state. Kenny's a very disciplined wrestler. My boy wrestled him last year, and they split with him at 185, and he's just a very disciplined wrestler, not real physical. Outstanding young man. He's got a lot more experience than old Jeff or Robert's going to have, so I'm sure that you got to get up on your base.
In the semifinal round, Chesler defeated Jinx of Chugiak 6-4, and Steed in overtime. The overtime criteria number 3. What does that mean?
Oh, that's a criteria that I was telling you about. That's the criteria I was telling you about when you go to. That's what happened, and we were on that mat. It was tied at the end of the regulation, and we went into overtime. It was tied at the end of overtime, 2-2. Steed had gotten a takedown. Rice had gotten 1-point escape and also got a point because Steed was stalling. Well, by criteria, I was saying earlier, there's a list of 10 or 12 of them, I can't remember. And he won it because he had the greater number of takedowns. That was the one that we hit. You read them down one by one. And as soon as you hit the one that makes the takedown was the one in the situation.
Chesler has picked up 2 points, and he leads 2-0 here with 30 seconds to go in the first period. 167 pounds.
Kenny's basically a leg rider. Potentially dangerous hold. Kenny's basically a leg rider, and
Chesler from service in the green. White and blue for Robert Steed from Chugiak. Counting down here in the first period, and 2-0 for the service wrestler. Service now with 332.5 points.
Jeez. Oh. He about got her. He about had one there. It's about.
2-0 is our score as we start the second period. And we still have 3 more divisions to go, the 177, the 191, and the heavyweight division.
And 2 service kids coming up at 77, huh?
And that war movie is going to be a little late tonight.
Oh, they got a movie on in a little bit.
I was kidding Tom Morgan. I said, hey, get Dick Enders to hold that thing off till I get home.
Yeah, what's the name of it? You've seen it.
4-0 now. 2 more points for Ken Chesler over Robert Steed. Good crowd on hand out here at Service High School. I guess you would say Service is what East is to basketball. And this region, this will be their 9th consecutive championship.
Yeah, they've really dominated in the region. Only won 1 state championship, and that was their first one last year. Since Byron's taken over anyway. Frank Adami was the man that was here before him, of course, and Frank won 2 back-to-back state titles here, and he inherited a fine program from Frank, no question about that.
It's got to help your program when you got a little tradition.
Oh yeah, sure it does.
Where kids who can't play the football or the basketball or the hockey. This is something they can get into.
The nice thing about wrestling, it takes into everybody. It counts to everybody from 100 pounds to 200 or to 300 pounds for the sets, you know. And I push my kids to wrestle. I think it's important for a team sport guy to understand. There comes Steed out. You get a couple maybe. Ooh. Ooh. He didn't get it. Chesler came back, come back out on top. But I think it's important for I get football coaches tell me a lot of things about, well, they don't like the weight loss, they don't like this, they don't like that. But I'll tell you what, in individual sport, you'll never see a wrestler make an excuse for not doing a job well on the football field, because they're making their own mistakes out there. There's nobody helping them. They don't depend on anybody except themselves. And when they get on the football field, hey, then they you know, that's just the way they operate. They don't make excuses.
So there's the end of the second period, 4-0. Ken Chesler leading Robert Steed of Chugiak. And the final period, so it is still well within the realm for Steed to come up here with some points and get right back in this match.
Yeah, he just about did her. They had two, just about, I thought. Wasn't gonna get her.
And then we're gonna get into the big uns.
Yeah, big boys. Purnell dropped. Kyle, well, we'll talk about Kyle after.
Chesler has not allowed Steed
He's very
any
tenacious.
offensive moves.
Yeah, Kenny, and Robert's trying. Kenny's just very tenacious, and he sticks right with you like glue. He's got great balance. And he gets ahead, and boy, he can hang on. And he works for it. There he comes. There's comes Robert again. Let's see what happens.
Again, those long legs of Chesler, when it looked like maybe he was going to lose it there, kept him in control.
He had trouble at 185 pounds last year because he was still only weighed 170, and he was wrestling 15 pounds up, and he really had trouble up there. I'm glad he's right where he's at, because he's an extremely fine young man. Robert's going to be a good one, though. He's just a sophomore. He's come a long way this year.
Down to 50 seconds in the match. 4-0. Ken Chesler leading Robert Steed. 167-pound division.
Gotta wrestle him, Robert. Go ahead now. Watch that. Yeah. Watch there he just called potentially dangerous. Oh, I saw the wrist. They're cheering for Robert.
A concerned coaching staff of the Mustangs.
There he comes. There he comes out. Ooh, hey, that old Kenny just like glue. He just sticks to you like glue.
Down to 30 seconds. And Chesler trying to pick up the second consecutive shutout here for a Cougar wrestler. He has just not allowed Steed any movement at all.
He's not wrestling now either. He's laying there. He ought to be dinged for stalling.
10 seconds to go in the match. Chesler just trying to hang on. In control the entire match here over Steed, and it's over.
Kenny Warner.
So 4-0.
This young 177 two-service guys. Kyle Purnell and Troy Doris. Doris is sophomore.
So there's our winner in the 167-pound division, Ken Chesler from the Service Cougars. And now we get into that who do you root for thing again with Tony Doris and Kyle Purnell. Doris, 177-pound sophomore, going against the senior Kyle Purnell.
Got beat by Stewart last year at the region finals at 185 pounds.
And I think they met this year too, didn't they?
They met 3 or 4 times this year, and always come out. Kyle was mentioning after he wrestled my boy Tom, he said, how do you think I feel? I've wrestled Brad 8 times, and I'm 0-8 against him, so don't feel bad, because Tom just is upset because he lost a couple of times. You know, he's only a sophomore, only lost a couple. He said, what do you think I feel like? So Kyle, he decided to drop, of course, and he'd probably be a state champ at 77, I would think.
This is kind of an unusual situation because Doris was ranked number 2 right behind Kyle Purnell in this weight division.
Yeah, but he wrestled a number of varsity matches at 77 when Kyle was up wrestling at 91, where Kyle even went to heavyweight a few times. You know, Kyle lost a number of matches during the year, but a lot of them to Stewart. He lost to Flotry at 91. He lost to Stewart at 91. Lost a couple of heavyweight matches. He didn't lose at 77. A few times he was there.
Purnell defeated Harmon of Bartlett 16-8 in the semifinals, and Doris down Armstrong of Chugiak 10-7.
He came back. Doris did in the last 30 seconds or last 15 seconds and was tied up 7-7 and put Armstrong on his back to beat him.
Purnell pinned Buchanan in the quarterfinals in 4:45. And Doris pinned Simpson of West in 1:09. So they have both been impressive here in this division. 177 pounds.
Doris was up at 91 a few times, and he had really trouble. Of course, he's just 77-pounder, you know. And when Kyle wrestled 77, Doris would go up 91, and he just didn't have enough power to stay with those big kids. Like Kyle's got enough power to stay with most of those big kids, except for Stewart.
2 points for Purnell. He is in control right now. Kyle Purnell. And the next division will be Brad Stewart.
Big Brad. Yeah.
Probably regarded as the
premier wrestler of the
number
state.
1 wrestler in the state of Alaska.
And probably the maybe all time, you know.
2-0 is our score. Kyle Purnell over his teammate Troy Doris. And again, we get that.
Got old Troy on his back. He may stick him. He's got a cradle on real tight. I don't know where that shoulder is, but it looks.
On the opposite side of the mat from our camera, so we can't get a real good shot from our 4 camera.
Right out of
the
time.
period comes to an end.
Yeah. Kyle probably put him away. Probably pin him.
3 points, Purnell, and now he's up 5-0 over Troy Doris.
Well, state tournament will be here next year. Next year, Dick. You'll have to come back.
Kyle Purnell on top, and he's leading in the match 5-0.
Get you interested in this wrestling.
Yeah, I'd like to. It's kind of tough when you got all these matches going on. The regional is a good time to come out and see them, or when you get some of the triangular meets when Kenai and West Valley and some of those schools come to town.
Yeah, you're so involved in so many things, sport-wise and everything else. It's time to have time for everything.
Purnell.
It's one you don't see on TV very much, you know, and stuff.
About the only time you do is when they show the
NCAA
collegiate championships,
And then they only show part of those, you know, and the stuff. Of course, it's so regionalized, like I said, you know, and great in the Midwest, you know, where I'm from in Illinois, you know, originally. It's good in Montana, where I went to college, and the high school ranks in the state, but some states are not so good. Some high schools, some states don't even have wrestling. Much less the colleges.
Down to a minute to go here in the second period. And a stalemate called by the official. Now, can both officials call something out there, or is it just the head referee?
The referee. The head referee is the only one that, the only thing that the assistant can do, Joel Silverthorne in this case, is just recommend to the official that, hey, stalling, stalemate, takedown, reversal, whatever. You know, that's the only thing they can do. And of course he can, you know, you see something dangerous, he's going to stop it. You know, an illegal hold, you can reach in there and say, hey, stop, you know, and yell and scream. Whistle's not in his mouth, so.
I don't want to bring up a sore point here. Maybe it is, but as I recall, and I don't recall the particulars, the match between Service and Kenai, when there was a couple of disqualifications, and Kenai won the match. Now, without getting into names and whatnot. What happened there? Was it just a couple of wrestlers getting a little too emotional?
No, one of the wrestlers was dinged for stalling for the second time. He's riding the legs like we're talking about, and sticking a leg in and not doing anything with it, trying to pin. Your job on top's try to pin. And he didn't think he should have got it, and he ran around the mat through his headgear, stomping and this type of thing. And Joel, all he did was he dinged him. You know, that'll cost you 1 team point, kid, and you're gone. You know, out the door. And then his brother came out of the stands, and it got a little more heated and this type of thing, and you're gone too. You know, both of them ended up not wrestling against either Chugiak or Service. So Chugiak even beat him. You know, there's a 12-point turner or more than that, really. You know. 6 points, disqualification, 6 points. Forfeits are 6 points, just like a pin. Kid get disqualified or you get forfeit. You know, it's like 6 points in a dual meet or a tri-meet.
So not only do you have to be disciplined physically, but also mentally to keep your head out there, and that it's easy to get frustrated. I can see. 6-0, Purnell.
Yeah, you know, I had my kid yell at me one time this year. He got pinned. He was ahead and just made a mistake. A young sophomore made a mistake, fell on his back, got pinned by Lacasse, the kid he beat tonight from Bartlett. He jumps up and screams, and you know, just you don't know why. Screams at you like, I told you, I quit. You know, I'm going to quit. I don't like this. You know, and this type of thing. And you know, just why? Who knows? You know, but you know that can cost you in a match. Referee can.
Now Purnell has built up some more points, 10-0 here in the final period as we're down to a minute. So the experience paying off. The senior Kyle Purnell in the 177-pound division, both wrestlers from Service.
Kyle he should be a 177-pound state champ. I don't see anybody beating him. I don't see anybody beating him. I'm glad for him because he's been in the shadow of Stewart all his days basically, and always had to wrestle Brad and everything, and could never beat him, of course. And so it's kind of nice. It'd be nice for him to be a state champ, region champ.
Down to 30 seconds. We may have our third shutout. Boy, Service is getting tougher here as the matches go along. But
it's the last Service, kids.
This is it.
Thank God. They're going to get their last points right up there. They're going to get a bunch of them, though.
They've already got 136.5 points.
336.
What did I say? 136?
Yeah, you said 100.
336.
They're going to get 4 more here. Now 4.5. No, 5.
Chugiak with 206. Diamond with 160, and it's a 12-0 shutout for Kyle Purnell.
Purnell, 12-0. Here comes Flotry and Purr and Stewart.
So Purnell over Doris. And Scott Flotry of Diamond, a senior, and Brad Stewart of West, a senior.
Flotry had a year off last year. He got hurt. He's got bad knee, and he didn't wrestle the second half of the season last year. Real powerful individual. Very aggressive, not a real good technician at all, but just a big tough kid. And of course we know about Brad. You can read Brad's credentials to you. Oh, Kenny Chesler.
Chesler receiving his award. Well, here we go. We better start reading now.
You better start reading, Dick, because there's a long list.
I better start reading on Brad Stewart as Scott Flotry from Diamond comes out. Scott on the year is 22-3. In the region, he's 7-3, and in the career, 51-20. He was injured all season last year and wrestled only 2 matches. He was 3rd in Region 4 and tied for 5th in the state in 81, and was the 79 junior high city champion at 145.
There's Stewart, took him down already. Put the legs in. Cradle, look at that. See, right to a cradle, right to his back.
Brad Stewart going for a quick one here.
He's hard to pin, that Flotry. Look at this.
He has 100 wins, 7 losses, and 1 tie in his high school career.
I'll be darned.
He's had years of 28, 27, 21, and 24 for a 4-year total. 3-time region champion at 185.
These 7 losses, Dick, 6 of them came in this freshman year and the tie. because they only lost one time his sophomore year and hadn't lost since. That was in the state finals.
He's 3 times finalist in the state wrestling championship. State champion 185 and 82. Outstanding Wrestler Award in Region 4 and 81. 3-time Alaska Freestyle champion. He was the champion of the Pacific University Open Tournament at Forest Grove, Oregon last year. He was the national AAU champion in Greco wrestling last year. He was the national Greco champion at the Sports Festival down in Syracuse last year.
Right. National Roman Greco champion.
And he was third in the world in the elite champion in Roman in 1982. So
Roman
we have
Greco
ourselves
wrestling.
an outstanding wrestler here, and he leads 4-0.
Right. He's really, you just got to watch him to appreciate him.
And you say he may be going to one of the Oregon schools?
I understand he may be going to the University of Oregon, where their coach down there is a real heavy in the Roman Greco. I really don't know how Brad will do okay. I just don't know how well he'll do in the collegiate style wrestling. But he loves that Roman Greco upper body stuff, and he'll do extremely well in that for the United States. And I think he's headed for the Olympics in '88. I really do. You know, if he can keep his weight down, and I don't think he's a 77-pounder in college. I mean, they're going to pull 15, 20 pounds off of him. They got to. He's not big enough. He's only 5'9".
He has big upper legs, upper thighs.
Right, great thighs, and he's not, from what I understand, my son says he's not really powerful. You know, real strong upper body, probably not near as strong as Flotry, but he's just so slick. And when he does something, it is 100 miles an hour, and it is quick.
And he's going for a pin on Scott Flotry right now.
He's got a bad knee, so he doesn't want to have to stay on that mat as much as he can. Boy, look at that. I'll tell you what, he's going to cradle him up now.
7-0 already. Brad Stewart. I saw kind of a sheepish grin on Scott Flotry's face when he was conferring with his coach before the match. Like, what do I do now, coach?
Yeah, he's lost to, yeah. He's got 3 losses this year, and 2 of them are to Stewart, and the other one was to my boy, and that's the only 3 losses he's had all year. You know what?
Tom wanted to know if you could punt in wrestling.
Oh, drop back 15 and punt.
7-0 is our score.
No, you can't, Tom. I'm sorry.
Actually, the biggest score that we have had, the most points amassed tonight, was 15 by Greg Vieira.
15-1, huh? Haven't had a lot of tight ones tonight, really. 4-0, 3-2.
Stewart leading 7-0 as we start the second period. He's had Flotry several times in a position to pin him, but hasn't been able to put him away.
Yeah, he's on.
He really uses the legs well, doesn't he?
Yeah. You might get the opportunity if Flotry can ever get away from him. Why don't you let him up, Brad, and let's see if he can get an upper body throw and use a little bit of Roman Greco stuff, because that's what he likes to do.
All right, what's the difference now to novice wrestlers?
Roman Greco wrestling is strictly upper body. You cannot use the legs at all. You can't trip in it. It's nothing. It's from the waist down up, and it's all upper body throws and being in the right. It just that's what it is. But this is what he does. Look at the leg. See the leg on the leg and the back? Folks can see it on TV, I think. He's got it in there tight now.
He's got him down.
Yeah, Flotry, there he goes. He did. He'll be outstanding wrestler, Dick, I do believe. Again, and he should be in the state tournament too, because it is a good weight class.
109 in the second period. Brad Stewart has another Region 4 championship.
Yeah, that's 4 of them.
He won't get 4 in the same weight class because they changed weight divisions.
Yeah, you might almost say it.
He got 3 at 185. So Brad Stewart has picked up his 4th championship in his high school career in the region.
His only loss the last 3 years has been in the state finals to Romans from Lathrop in a very, a controversial situation. It was a good call, I guess, and but a lot of people didn't think so. But he got beat 11-9 right at the end of the match when he was a sophomore again.
Well, now we go to the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
And this is Robert Campbell from Bartlett and Frank Imhoff from Chugiak. Imhoff 9-1. Second in the region in 81-82. First in the state in 81-82.
Yeah, it beat Ron Williams. You should have seen that up there, that big basketball player from Kodiak.
He is the #1 seeded wrestler in the tournament.
Only loss.
Campbell #2.
Only loss has been to Stewart. Stewart's the only loss he had.
And Campbell, who was a junior at Bartlett, came off spring knee injury.
Yeah, real bad one. Stewart
kept him out of football, and they didn't think he was going to wrestle this year.
It happened in a freestyle tournament up in Palmer. Against Stewart, too, mind you. Yeah, Robert had complete reconstruction of the knee.
Obviously, that is the one with that huge knee pad on the right knee. Boy, I don't know how he wrestles.
He's got one of them form braces, you know, one of them custom $500-600 braces on there, because it's complete reconstruction of the knee.
All right, what does Imhoff go as far as weight?
Frank's probably about 230 now. I think maybe 228, something like that. He played ball about a little bit heavier than that, 235 or so, but he may be even down 2 1/4 now.
Campbell looks like he may be 240, 245.
Yeah, right, somewhere in that area. Frank a little bit taller than he is. Frank beat him both times this season. Campbell gave him a good go out at Shugiak one time.
Campbell is huge in the upper body.
Yeah.
Chest, shoulders, and has big thighs as well. Huge legs, but not as tall as Imhoff. And there's no score, and we've got 1 minute gone in the heavyweight championship.
I wonder if they get anybody. Did they give the 191-pound award yet? No. My wife could get somebody to take a picture of that.
This is Frank Imhoff and Robert Campbell. Heavyweight championship of region #4. Campbell pinned Metcalf of Service 544, and Imhoff defeated Pierce of Diamond 12-1 in the semifinal match. In the quarterfinals, Imhoff pinned Wyatt of East 254. And with 17 seconds, neither man has been able to put a point on the scoreboard.
Yeah. 0-0. Usually in a heavyweight match, that's what ends up a lot of times at the end of the first round. 0-0, because they don't go under each other and shoot for takedowns, Dick. They kind of use it because that weight, you drop a lot of weight on you. Frank should. I don't know why. He's quick enough to do it, but he just hasn't done it, and he has all year.
2 seconds to go in the first period and no score. We're going to have time to stay around for the award ceremonies here. Mr. Morgan, our director. The movie will be rolling immediately following our matches. We have gone almost an hour over the predicted time for our match.
Usually takes, what was it predicted, 8 to 9:30 on the... Usually take about 2 hours.
We're in the second period and there's no score. Do not call, friends. The movie will be on momentarily.
All right, it won't be long.
Well, Service, we can tell you what they have amassed now. They're through getting points for the night. 341 and a half. Diamond is done for the night. They get 160. Bartlett 112 and a half.
Frank got him in cradle situation just about. Ooh. He's going to get away. Campbell got away. 1 point. Uh-oh.
So the first point of the match.
He's got it locked. Oh, Campbell fell.
Boy, that is a lot of weight going down on that mat, I'll tell you.
500 pounds hitting that mat all at one time, one on top of the other.
1-0, Robert Campbell.
Yeah, Robert's ahead.
Bartlett.
Frank hadn't been down yet. Now they'll waller around out there probably unless Frank can get a takedown. Come on.
West winds up at 127 and a half points.
I get so irritated with heavyweights because they just get on their feet and they don't wrestle. You know, they just kind of grab hold of each other. But hey, they got Campbell for stalling now, and they'll probably. Get after each other, man.
The order of finish will not be affected by this match. Service 1, Chugiak 2.
Frank got 2. There's takedown. They got to.
Diamond 3.
They didn't give it to him. That's questionable. That's one of those out of bounds calls, okay? That's one of those out of bounds calls where it would, I think it's probably a pretty good call. I can't quite tell. We're not in the right position to see it, but it looked like a good call. Very well.
There's a very enthusiastic fan on the far side. Might be a father, huh?
That's it. Oh, that's Frank's dad. That's Pete. Yeah, right. That's Frank's dad. Pete, it's in the family, you know. His brother before him, when Frank was a sophomore, his brother Pete won the state championship at that heavyweight. He only weighed, and he ran from Stewart, or basically ran up from Stewart to the state tournament, and he was only 185, 190 pounds, and he won the state championship. They got it, tied it up 1 point. And Pete, and then Frank won it last year, and they keep it in the Imhoff family, hopefully for another year, you know. He's one of my ball players. I hope he does well.
Now, the referee was talking to Campbell. What was he saying?
Campbell evidently questioned what he'd done, why he got called for stalling, and now he's getting after it a little bit because, you know, Frank won't shoot. He should be. Frank's down next round, so that's...
.22 seconds to go in the heavyweight championship match between Frank Imhoff of Chugiak, Robert Campbell in the gold and blue for Bartlett.
Anything can happen with a big guy, boy. I tell you what, Frank could fall and old Campbell fall on him real easy. Or the other there, he finally shot a takedown. Much better now. He's coming through. Oh, thought he'd get it. Why don't they do that more? You know, they're capable of doing that.
And we're down to 2 seconds in the second period. Not many surprises here in the championship.
No, I don't think so.
And we'll run them down for you right now. Billy Mears, the winner in the 98-pound division. Eric Holta from West in the 105. Rodney Jackson of Chugiak on the 112. Greg Vieira from Service, 119. Barry Shefke from Service, 126. Dale Vieira from Service, 132. Larry Shefke from Service, 138. Chris Kyrgios.
The only possible was it could have been an upset would have been in that one. I would pick Kyrgios to beat Harris, even though Harris was seeded #1. But that just about happened, but Kyrgios got to come back and got it.
That was in the 145, and the 155, Norm Mazzanaria shut out over Greg Broderick. Kisler shut out Jeff Steed of Chugiak in the 167 from Service. 177, Purnell shut out his teammate Doris. Brad Stewart of West, 109 of the second period, a pin. And here in the heavyweight match,
Frank's coming out. Frank's coming out. Old Campbell's trying to hang on, but Frank's coming out of her. All that can he expect to do? Frank's in a good position where he wants to be. That's for sure. You want to be down, you know. And Frank never does score a lot of points against him. It was 5-4 last time, or 4-3. I can't remember. They're going to get Campbell for stalling. Told you.
44 seconds to go.
He's just hanging on. He's not trying to pin him, and that's his job up top. All he's trying to do is hang on to Frank.
All right, now, is the referee warning him while he's in that position?
No, well, no. Once he's warned, they're not, you know, on the mat, we'll usually tell him, well, hey, you got to work now. Got to work on the top. Got to work on the top. Got to go on the bottom or something, you know, and to encourage him a little bit, but.
They know what they have to do out there.
They know. I mean, they know when they're warned for stalling. He was warned, and he's not trying to put him on his back. That's what you got to do. Frank's got to come all the way up, and he's not doing it either. Frank's trying to wrestle him, but that 250 pounds on you is pretty a lot of pounds.
2-1 our score. We're down to 30 seconds.
And Frank coming out. Boy, Campbell's trying to now, isn't he? Campbell's trying to put him on his back. He does it, and he'll win it.
15 seconds to go in the match.
Uh-oh, cradle time. Oh, he didn't get it. He's too short to ride that cradle in there. He's going for it. Now they warned Frank for stalling. There's 5 seconds to go. Frank won it.
That's a pitcher's duel.
Yeah.
Well, we get the lowest score in the final match of the evening. 2-1, Frank Imhoff.
The way it should have gone. It should have been a better match, though.
And it's a tough way to lose. Robert Campbell losing. He had the advantage, and he didn't take advantage. And Frank Imhoff is the heavyweight champion in Region 4.
We probably won't be on the air, Dick, to hear the Outstanding Wrestler Award, but I don't know for sure because they give it after the team trophies usually. But 91 and then coming up and then heavyweight. I really believe it'll be Brad Stewart again. I think it should be. He's got 3 pins in a real tough weight class, or 4 pins or whatever, in a real tough weight class, and might be the toughest in Region 4, that 191-pound weight class.
So Service High School has won their 9th consecutive Region 4 championship. They had it already wrapped up before the match even got started tonight with 341.5 points. Second place goes to the Chugiak Mustangs. They had 206. And by picking up the win in the final match,
you give them 4 more.
So they wind up with 210 points.
Right, 210.
Finishing third is Diamond with 160. Bartlett finishes number 5 behind West. West 127.5, Bartlett 112.5. And East High with 86.5 points. Well, we'd like to thank Jesse Gardner, matchmaker Diane Wilson, Brendan McGee, the master scorer, Bob Jorgensen, the announcer.
Brad got a kiss from one of the girls over there when he got his award. He jumped off the stand to get it, Dick.
The typist who put the stats together for us, Sharon Feely, the floor manager, Bob Senden, and the whole crew out here at Service High School. We appreciate it. Dick Lobdell for our expert commentator tonight, Tom Huffer, the head football coach out of Chugiak High School. This has been the Region 4 Wrestling Tournament Championship round from Service High School on KAKM Channel 7. Good night, everybody.
Public Alaska.